Welcome back, everybody, to Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Nico, and Happy New Year to all you guys. And I'm joined today, as always, with my co-host Chris. What's going on?
Hey, not much. How are you? Happy New Year.
Yeah, I get a little tongue-tied here. It's almost like I forgot how to do this here, Chris. It's been a while. It's been
That's it. 1 week off, you forget it all.
But yeah, welcome back, everybody. Happy New Year. We hope your holidays were good. And yeah, we're here, episode 160 of Comic Shop Talk, back to talk about comics, the weekly comics, the last 2 weeks of comics, actually. And if you did miss out on our show last week, make sure to go back and check out the feed. We did the best comics of 2024, the Comic Shop Talk third annual Comic Shop Talk Awards episode that we put out last week. And that was a lot of fun. And we kind of like covered like 20 different categories, highlighting some of our favorite and not so favorite comics that came out this past year that we talked about on this show. So if you guys missed that, go back and check that out. That'll be in the feed here. And some of the other great stuff here on the Late Night Chat Network. We dropped like best year of type videos for all kinds of things in the past week, including comics, movies, TV shows, podcasts. Me and JT do our year-end media reviews where we highlight some of our favorite things, top 5 albums that came out, like music. So yeah, so definitely go check that out. And over at Late Night at the Movies, our movie show, we did like our top 5 there with some other hosts. So yeah, all kinds of great year-end type stuff there that dropped this past week that you guys can go check out if you're looking for new recommendations for any of those things. And yeah, make sure to check out the Comic Shop Talk awards episode where we talk about the best comics of 2024 in our opinion, our favorite stuff anyways that we read. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like and subscribe. And today we're going to be talking about 2 weeks worth of comics. So first up, we're going to be talking about December 25th, 2024, the last week of last year, week of comics. We try to kind of combine them because with Christmas and New Year's, there's always like a lighter week. And that's actually the New Year's week this week, I found, at least for stuff that me and Chris read. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about December 25th, 2024. It was weird this year because for the first time, I feel like in all my comic reading, at least getting back into it, maybe it fell on the holidays. So like all the people like trickling into the comic shops too, you had to go on like the day after or even like the Friday after the week. It seemed like some shops, and between distributor issues, Chris, Canada Post issue, like post office issue. There's a lot of issues right now, at least in Canada, in terms of like us getting our comics. So there are some things like I was late getting, some things that didn't come in. So yeah, anyways, it's been interesting to say the least. So spoiler warning, everybody, be forewarned, we are going to be talking about what happens in the comics here today. So we're going to be showing off some of the art. I have art for the December 25th week, but no art for the New Year's week. Unfortunately, wasn't able to upload those. So, yeah, so just be forewarned, though. If you're worried about getting spoiled on something, just read your books and come back. All right, Chris.
All right. Let's talk comics.
Cheers. Talk some comics. All right. First up on the docket here today, we got Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns #5, the conclusion of this weekly Christmas mini-series here. What do you think of this one, Chris?
It seems so long ago, I almost forget what happens in there. But what I do recall is that just the series in general, it's just a fun Christmas series. You know, the characters and everybody in there, it just kind of hits everything right on the nose. And I think everything sort of turned out, all happy in the end. And I liked the issue. The vibes gave me good positive vibes.
Yeah, agreed. And I think I don't really have anything new to add that we haven't said on a weekly basis about this book. But again, good art, fun time, good cast of characters involved in this. And yeah, they kind of made it seem like a legit actual JLA adventure, if you will. And I think it's a good trade to pick up if you're looking for some good Christmas comics. And yeah, just it was just a good series that I feel like they didn't phone in, which is the best thing I can say about something like this, which is a Christmas weekly DC event type of comic, right? So both the original one, the Batman Silent Night, I think that was the first one that it was called, right? Silent Night, and this is Silent Night Returns, right? So yeah, both of them were good. There's 2 mini-series worth of last year they came out with one, and this year they came out with, they've both been solid. I may give the first one just a little bit more than this one. I think the first one is a little bit better than this one for whatever reason, but
Yeah, the first one was more Christmassy, I felt. With
yeah,
Krampus and all this. This one about this ghost night or whatever, and how he kind of comes to power. I guess it was more story driven, but not so much Christmas driven. I think Santa was there, but other than that, didn't really have much other sort of Christmas theme going on in there.
yeah, other than the end here where it was like peace on earth and like everyone's together. Right? But you're right. This was more like more leaning into like fantasy based comics, I would say.
Yeah,
More so despite Santa Claus being a central figure of it, right? So what'd you give this, Chris?
yeah. I'd give this 3.75 in the whole series. A 3.75.
It took the words right out of
No
my mouth.
complaints.
Yeah, same thing. 3.75 for both the series and the issue, which is pretty much consistently, I feel like, been a rating throughout it. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Hellhunters #1, Chris.
My issue right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, with this lineup here, yeah, I had to take a peek. And I wasn't disappointed reading this. I think it starts out, with, I guess, a German Nazi group there. And I think they venture into some forest or something. And that's where they get taken over by some demons. Then it comes out to the Ghost Rider. He's a soldier, so either chasing him or something. And he gets killed. And then I guess the spirit of vengeance, comes upon him, and he's trying to track him. And then they run into, I guess, the American soldiers there. I forget who it is. I guess Sebastian Stan and Nick Fury, and then or Sebastian Stan. I mean, the Winter Soldier or Bucky.
Yeah. Well, that's who he is
And
in the movies. Yeah.
yeah, and Nick Fury there. So it's just a lot of, I guess, story building in the beginning. Kind of figure out who's who and what's what. But I enjoyed this thoroughly. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Adam Gorham art on this too. I thought he did a really great job. He's the artist actually we met at the con there, Chris, or you met at the con there that had that page that I was trying to buy off of. I
Right.
couldn't, it wasn't
Get it?
successful. Yeah, I really like his art, so I have a couple of pieces by him. So I thought this was a really good looking book too.
Yeah, I think it's a good fit for him too. This
Yeah.
sort of, whatever demonic sort of stuff there.
Yes, exactly. And like all the soldiers and like the army stuff I thought was really good too. Yeah, if he the last thing I guess that I saw that he had done outside of I guess Marvel comic stuff is he drew a Diablo comic like for the video game, which I had just found out when we seen him at the con there. So yeah, like Chris has mentioned here, it's kind of in line with some of the stuff he's been drawing lately. So this book kind of fits that well. So yeah, it's good stuff. I liked it. It was fun. I'm not a huge fan of Philip Kennedy Johnson, the writer of this comic, but I think he's got something here. I like the the World War kind of II kind of vibe going on here. I like the different characters that are involved, right? So it's fun stuff. I liked this for what it was. I think this is a mini series, right? Like a four.
Yeah, I think it's like whatever 4 or 5 issues, and I think that's just a perfect
Yeah.
length for this. Because what Philip Kennedy Johnson's doing over at the Hulk, I know a lot of people are saying it's great, but I'm not sure if it's really suiting the Hulk. I think his sort of his taste for the supernatural fits this story a whole lot better.
Yeah, I'm not huge on like a lot of people like Hulk with like horror stuff. Like even the last run that was the Immortal Hulk which was pretty popular. That was like a body horror kind of Hulk kind of comic, but I don't love horror all so much. I feel with the Hulk as much as I liked the Immortal Hulk run. I think it. Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't really like that run. I dropped that, right. So this fits well here with these characters though for sure. And like of course like people like Wolverine or whatever. I guess this is Hellverine or Ghost Rider. All these people like have
Yeah.
history. Like we know they've been around since back in the day. These characters or versions of these characters, let's say. So it tracks in a way as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this fun stuff. What'd you give this?
Yeah, I give it a 4. I like this one.
I'll go 3.75 on this. I liked it still though. I'm gonna stick with it. I might pick up the trade if it continues to be good because I didn't pick up the issues of this. So next up, Absolute Wonder Woman #3.
That's a This Wonder Woman story's getting a little crazier and crazier as it goes on.
I love this book, man. It's honestly, I'm telling you, it's my breakout favorite of the I got the
Oh, covered you got there. That's a nice one.
art germ. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, there was an art germ there?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. I didn't initially get this one, but as soon as I see this, I'm like, yeah, I gotta swap up for this one.
Yeah, I gotta pop that on full screen there for a second
Oh
again.
yeah, sure. Hold up.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a keeper.
Yeah. Yeah, nice one, right? Yeah. See, I didn't see it in the solicits either, though. I missed it as well initially, but yeah. What'd you think of this?
Well, this might be one of the only kind of comics where I seem to enjoy their well, maybe I wouldn't want to say I enjoy that flashback, but the flashback has some story there. Like when she was talking with Steve, and I know what happened to him, or she figured out how to get him back to the main world. Why he has to come back to the main world and why the sacrifice was so great,
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe that'll be revealed later on. But that's saying that's whatever Steve or Steve Trevor, that's his name, yeah. That Steve Trevor is like, the greatest of all men. It's like, that's a bit of a stretch. But otherwise, what she does to get him back there, that was absolutely crazy. He, well, I don't know if you want to call this a spoiler, because this happens just like in the middle of the
Oh, yeah,
issue.
say it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, he goes, you need to get a warrior's arm or something. It seems sort of nonchalant. And, then, she's sitting there in front of the fireplace or something with an arm in front of her. And then Cersei's like, what did you do?
Yeah.
And then it like pans out, you see her sitting there, and she put her own arm in there. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then, and then even just the stuff that's going on in the present day, she's trying to, clue in the army there on what's about to happen and how the things are going to go, and why she's telling this is like, if this thing defeats me, which it very well might,
Yeah.
this is what you need to do. And the battle was great, and then another crazy thing happens there. I don't know which happened first, really, but she gets all wrapped up in the tentacles, and I guess the way she frees herself is like
Yeah.
her arm is like a magic arm or something. So that makes sense why she has that big tattoo there or something.
Yeah.
And then and then it even still gets crazier when she goes back to the base.
Yeah.
She finds some freaking steampunk arm that she fits in like Furiosa.
Yeah.
I can't complain about any of that. This one's just been hitting all the spots.
I love this book. I think it's getting better and better. I think it's the breakout hit of the absolute books, and I don't care. I mean, people don't have to agree with me. I like the Batman book too. Don't get me wrong, but this is much better in my opinion. I just really dig what's going on here. She's fighting kaiju, like you said, that whole scene where she's explaining like the stages of what it's gonna do and like how it's gonna like make this noise and people are gonna be
There's like the four fears of, well, I don't know, whatever they were.
Yeah, but they're basically, what happens is they're willed to like walk into this beast's mouth and like it takes its soul from them or something like that. She's like, well, I don't really got to explain that. And like, I just like the way she's so blunt. And like you said, like, she's just like, yeah, so who's going to take over when I get taken out by this thing? And like, what are you talking about? Like, you're our only hope to beat this thing. And she's like, well, I hate to tell you guys, but I don't think I can beat this thing. Right. Like, it's crazy. Like, and then, I didn't think this art was gonna work. I think the art fits the book.
I think you had grown on me.
Yeah, I like it. I actually like
it. A good story makes the art better.
Absolutely. And just like the choices I think the artist makes, like the panel kind of layouts, and the art's kind of weird looking, so it kind of works for the kaijus and stuff like that. Yeah, it's I think this is a great book all around. Honestly, this is the arm sacrifice. What more can you say about this issue? I agree with Chris. Like it's a lot of interesting story beats and moments in this one, and I think with 3 issues in, it's continuously built each issue, and I think it keeps getting better and better. So I can't wait to see where this goes. And also Kelly Thompson, who's writing this. I mean, her first, I think, DC gig was a Birds of Prey book. That was this is the book that she's been killing on. Honestly, Birds of Prey didn't pan out the way I wanted to, unfortunately. But this book, she's firing on all cylinders on this one. I think she's doing a great job here. So, and this whole thing with I think that
Minerva or
Cheetah. I think right. That's she makes an appearance in this, and you know, she's trying to come to her aid and stuff like that too. So even like the relationships of the characters aren't like super far-fetched from what they are normally, but you know, it's interesting stuff going on in this one. What'd you give this?
Yeah, 4.25, easy.
Yeah, I mean, I might even go 4.5 on this one. I really like this issue.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, Chris, you got a few here you read this week. Timeslide #1.
Yeah, Timeslide #1. Just do you have the art for that? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I know it's still a generic story. You know, they're popping through time to do whatever they do with all their MacGuffins or whatever they call them now, their doohickeys. And just the one big thing that kind of got me here is I think in one page, there's basically just a list of sort of all these events that are going on. And I found that to be the most interesting because they're just little one-liners about maybe some synopsises of what may be happening. No, there's other pages while they're traveling through time. And I forget who is a Tempest or something.
This character isn't that an empath or something like that from Generation?
Yeah, I forget what her name was, but basically she's telling you're going to see a lot of stuff here.
Oh,
Try not
Tempest.
to dwell on it too much. Yeah,
yeah. Sorry,
try not to dwell on it too much. And they would kind of, the page where you'd see them go through time, and they'd be all kind of just the lightning, like this. And in each one of those little blurbs there, it might be a glimpse into something. I didn't find that too much interesting because you can't really, there's not much to say in there or not much to see in there. You're better off kind of reading what each one of those little things mean and bleeding cool sort of freaking article or something. But the one where it does have that whole list of everything, there's a few lines in there that were interesting. I think a lot of them had to do with Spider-Man. It's weird to see that Spider-Man was so prevalent in this list of time. But there's one like it's Beware of Spider-Man or something like that. So that's about the only thing that kind of got me interested into what's going on here. The story, it's ho-hum. It's good enough. It's better than I think last year's Timeslide with Power Man that turned into a mini series.
Oh yeah.
And so I don't think I'll be following that. I don't know if that's going to have much to do with what's going on here. And yeah, once again, like I say, it's just Bishop they're going to these whatever temporal events where they're just trying to catch up to something. So story's decent, but I'm just waiting for that page that I was talking about. Yeah, this page here. I don't know if you can read any of that stuff there. I'm sure they could have had
I could try here. The 8 deaths, One World Under Doom, which we know about, Rise of the New Champions, The Eternal Storm, The False Metal. I'm guessing that's a Wolverine one that's going on in that story right now. Who waits within the last egg? Is that what that says?
Oh, yeah, I think that's something. I think they find an egg or something, and then there might be a secret mutant in there or something.
Okay. Strange of Asgard, which we know is going to be a series coming out. Galactic Leaders Assassinated. Okay, that's interesting. The Time of Strife, Dormammu Invasion of Earth, Ms. Marvel Second Genesis. Okay, is she gonna? Because I know some mutants.
I think they're trying to get her some more power.
Yeah, because some mutants have that second form of a mutation or whatever, right? So, Ultimate Incursion. Oh,
I'm worried about that one.
So
they got to let that Ultimate Universe breathe. You can't be having that Ultimate Incursion too soon.
I mean, I can see that happening at the end of this year,
they
right?
Can't destroy Ultimate Spider-Man. I don't care about the rest of this universe so far. They can't destroy Ultimate Spider-Man.
Who is the man? No, I agree. Who is the man with the hammer? Ghost, new Thor, maybe the Ghost Fist. Where is Spider-Man? What became of Emily? And then it's kind of covered by her hand. I don't know what that says. Emily.
Yeah, I think that was a nothing one.
The Will of Doom, which is probably the outcome, I would think.
Yeah, it could be that. Yeah, aftermath.
Utgard Rises, which I think is another Thor.
Yeah, that's another Thor thing that's been going on in the Thor issues recently, and that's no fun.
Age of Revelation. What the hell can that be? An X-Men thing? Or Beware the Spider-Man.
Yeah, I feel like that one's kind of weird. Beware the Spider-Man.
This one's kind of weird too. Who would trade away immortality? Which also sounds like an X-Men. Well, I mean, they don't have immortality. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know what that is. Then it's like XVX. Is that what that is? It X-Men versus X-Men?
Could be. There's something like that's already starting to brew in the comics that we had this week.
Then it says Gene Bomb at the bottom. I don't know what that's all
Yeah.
about. So yeah, some interesting things there. Some things we know, but some interesting possibilities here of stuff that could start, happening here. But this does seem like a lot of X-Men, Spider-Man, Thor type of events here.
Yeah.
It looks like and Fantastic Four, of course, which
I just figured they could have had a more imaginative way to display this rather than just basically.
like, listen, we don't want to draw this. Here's a list.
Yeah, here's the list. Fuck, I know what this stuff's gonna look like yet.
I mean, that's
otherwise, the rest is all just kind of whole hum stuff. There, they do whatever they need to do, and
yeah.
it's all good at the end.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could have just put that out online. You didn't even have to do an issue. Well, they got to make money off the announcements here, right? Yeah, you know who I was thinking? I said empath. That person at the start there, I think that was Emplate from Generation X or something like that. I think that started this comic. I don't know what they were doing in there, but then you get your usual. Here's a bunch of panels that might mean something.
Yeah, might mean something, might mean nothing.
Yeah,
maybe who knows?
Yeah. All right. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.5. It wasn't bad.
Yeah,
but it's just a tease. That should be a free comic at Christmas. Really,
it served its purpose. Let's say, right, in that sense. Yeah. Okay. Then you got Action Comics 1081, Chris.
Let's see. I think this is the end of this Phantom War. Yeah. I'm not even sure if I freaking pulled this, and somehow I got a variant cover too. It's not a bad variant cover because we pulled it out there. Oh yeah, I'll take that. It's
not bad.
David Takalaski or Teleski or something like that.
It's not bad.
So basically, I guess here in the last issue, the leader of the Phantom Zone, he kind of popped out, and he swore vengeance on Superman and his whole family, and now basically this is the aftermath of that event. And the super family is kind of just wondering what to do here, and I think all the zoners, as they call them now, those are all the Kryptonians or whatever that were in the Phantom Zone that are still free. They sort of attack the super family. They take them all prisoner, and they take them to some space station out in the sky, and it turns out to be a ruse, and the space station, or I don't know, whatever it is, this big stage, there it is, whatever that Zandu guy, he was going to plan to kill the whole family there by all the zoners kind of using their heat vision to fire this thing up, and it would kill the super family. But what I don't understand is, well, and anyways, it turns out to be a giant Phantom Zone projector. And the super family was they were playing possum, and then when their jig was up, they all broke free, and then they zapped them. But I don't know how they were able to make this Phantom Zone projector when they didn't know what was going on. That's the only thing I didn't get. Maybe it was something, another issue previous. But they all get sucked in, and then Superman's brother, friend, or whatever, I think he's back in the Phantom Zone to watch over him. And now the Phantom Zone is in a place of no redemption. Like they're the Kandorians, I guess, they're going to be watching the Phantom Zone, and if someone proves that they've redeemed themselves, they may be eligible for parole. So I guess that was one big thing there. The Phantom Zone was cruel and unusual punishment. So I guess they've addressed that here. Which, it's a comic book. It can be cruel and unusual. These aren't real people in there,
That's a good point. Yeah.
And I don't know, this was the end of the Supergirl story. I think this had some legs, but this is the aftermath there. She completed her mission. I really don't know what she did there. And then she was kind of back to the Thangarians and just, kind of just basically a mission briefing. And, I guess she was talking about it with Power Girl when she got back to Earth, and kind of ties up all the loose ends, but I don't even know what the loose ends were that were tied up. So
I'll tell you this, because I wasn't familiar with this artist. What does it say? Skylar Partridge? I wasn't familiar with her, but I'll be keeping an eye out, because I really like the art on this and these stories. Like the one,
I think with it deserves a good story though to it,
Yeah.
not just for any run of the mill story.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I didn't read that one, but every time I put the art together for you, because this has been coming out weekly lately, I always kind of stopped and was looking at the pages on that backup because I was like, oh, there's some really good art on this, actually. If anything, I feel like it would have been nice if the artists were able to switch roles, to be honest. Not that the other one looked bad, but I would have liked to, you know what I mean? Like that other artist is like seems like an up and comer in terms of like, I don't really know. I'm not familiar with her, right? So like that would have been nice to get the main story in the Action Comics, you know what I mean? But whatever, that's that sucks that not as good of a story, like you said. It had some legs at first and then just fizzled out.
Yeah,
right?
but if they ever came up with a story, that's really gonna progress either Supergirl or Power Girl or something, I think that's the artist for it.
Yeah, and then sometimes these guys got to put in their time on smaller stories in order to get the big gigs, right? So I get it. Like being a backup in Action Comics, being weekly, like there's probably a lot of people that were exposed to this artist, right, as a result. So like I think it's a good thing still. So yeah, like we'll see what happens next. I'm not familiar with that artist, and that was always been a standout when I've been putting this
especially when you outshine the main artist of the series.
No, it looks good.
The story might not have got you there, but that's where the art sort of brought up the story, not the other way around.
Right. Okay. What'd you give this?
Yeah, I'd give it 3.5.
Overall, what did you think about this Mark Waid Phantom Zone story in the Action Comics, though? You read, I think, most of it, right?
I read it most near to the end.
Okay.
But it's hard to say. I felt like it should be something bigger. It was hard to see this contained in just in the Action Comics, like an event that's so big. Like having the Phantom Zone, freaking explode and everybody coming to Earth. That's something that could involve everybody. They could have saved that story for another time. But
so you would say if a collection came out of this, you'd rather borrow than buy this one then?
Oh yeah, I definitely would go and buy it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm happy to have the issues there. It was a good read, but nothing to take home. Like no Kingdom Come, that's for sure.
Right. Well, a few things are. I mean, that's
well, yeah. I think it's 3.5. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Iron Man number 3, Chris.
I didn't know I had a run going here. My bad. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
So I got this comic because of the
nice
Capcom whatever versus Bendis comics.
Yeah.
And so here Iron Man's he's still fighting for his company, and spoiler alert, at the end of this issue, gets it back. How he gets it back, I did find it interesting to read. I'm glad this wasn't drawn out over 12 issues. Right. Basically, I think he has his whatever board of directors meeting, and they have the big vote, and everybody's against it except I guess Tony Stark, and I think there was another person. And then you find out who's sort of been bankrolling this whole thing, and it's like some demon from another world. So they all go to this demon land.
They love their demons over there.
They sure do. And that's the thing. Like, that's why all the other board members were on board. It's like, one of the perks of being on board here is, we can offer you things, we can save you from what we're going to do here and give you, ever eternal life or all this freaking baloney stuff. And so they do all go to the demon land there. And then Tony Stark has his chance to talk to the guy that's I guess the backer, and he just basically lays it out. He goes, "Look, I'm an Avenger. I've done this. I don't think you've done your due diligence.
Right.
If I lose this thing, I'm coming back here full force, and you guys just bet on the wrong horse. You can look at our history. We've never lost." And then there's like the demon accountant. He's like, "Whoa, I didn't know this. Whatever he says rings true. I don't think we've done it. We've been lied to or something like that." And they go, "We're out."
Yeah.
And then all the board members that were on board, they get fried in hell or something. And then even this Justine Hammer, which I thought was supposed to be a big deal, I think somehow at the end she's like, "Oh, you're the Ironmonger now," and gives him like a giant freaking heart there, or well, no, the heart or whatever, the arc reactor. So I'm not sure if he's got all his stuff back or not yet, but it's crazy. Like it was a good read to see how it all happened, how he got it back. Right. And it only took 3 issues. So I'm not mad about that now. I thought this thing was starting out as okay. But it's gonna be like this for another freaking 12 months.
Well, that's why I dropped it after the first issue. I was like, I tried it out. It seems like they're just rehashing the same old themes.
Yeah, they kind of did bring in that here. You did bring up that Fei Long stuff. Like Fei Long guy, you just tried to do this to me like 2 weeks ago. Look where he's now. He's like rotting in the bottom of a pit somewhere.
No, but then like 2 issues later, you're
Yeah,
telling
someone else is doing it.
what happened here? Like, demons and like, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. He had that big sword, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he doesn't need to use that anymore. I don't know why he needed to use it too, but he did. Overall, I guess still give it a 3.5.
Okay.
I'll pick these issues up sporadically.
Yeah.
I still feel bad I missed out on the last series. I kind of got it near the end, but that one really did change its course. Where hopefully maybe this one will too. But
I know. Yeah, I love the Jerry Duggan run. So, all right, so 3.5. All right. Next up, feel free to chime in if you recall if you read this one or not, Chris. Metamorpho the Element Man #1. I guess this is like the last of the I guess these mini series or whatever spinning out of like the DC All In, at least out of the ones they've announced.
yeah.
This is Al Ewing, who I don't know if this is
Yeah.
I don't know if this is his first DC gig. It might be. Everything I've read by Al Ewing, I believe, has been from Marvel. So I'm not used to seeing him on DC books. So that was interesting. Also, Steve Lieber, I really love his art. Like, he's a good comedic kind of artist. He drew one of my favorite series of all time, Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Nick Spencer wrote when Superior Spider-Man was like the status quo, which is a really, really funny book about all the stupid like D-list villains of Spider-Man. But he's a good fit, I think, for this. That being said, I didn't really dig this issue. I appreciated what he was going for here. Like, the way he wrote this was like it's a book out of like the 60s or something like that. Like, it was very like over the top, like the language of it, like it was kind of weird. And like, did you read this? Is it ringing a bell?
No. Once you put that first page, I didn't see any of this here.
Yeah, there's like an interesting group of characters. Metamorpho is an interesting character that doesn't really get a lot of like shine. Like, he's definitely from that era, and it's like the way it's written is like it's like one of those like weird kind of like zany kind of 60s like era of 60s like DC book type of thing, where like it's like I appreciated what he was trying to do here. That's what I got out of it. That being said, I just really wasn't hooked by the end of this. I love Steve Lieber's art. I thought he did a good job on this, but it just didn't give me enough where, where I'm like, I got to read the next issue. So I just read this digitally. I probably won't continue with it. But yeah, he's got an interesting group of cast of characters around him. He tries to, somebody's trying to infiltrate his, like, trying to find out more information on him, and gets involved in like, there's like a secret organization that's like looking into him. And, it kind of helps describe like what Metamorpho's powers are. Like, he can basically transform into anything on like the, like
the table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Elements, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what I mean. I like the character. This is, if I hear this is really good, I might revisit it, like, or pick up the trade somewhere down the line. But like I see what he's trying to do here. Like, I appreciated it more than I enjoyed it. Let's say by the end of it, I was just like, I don't really feel willed. To be honest with you, none of these new books that they've spun out of this All In, I've been like, by the end, I'm like, the New Gods book, the Challengers of the Unknown, where they're like trying to bring back the 60s properties from DC, which are good proper. Like, I like that they're trying to do books like this, but I just haven't loved any of them. And I feel like this is the only one where I feel like he's trying to keep it like to make it feel similar to the old kind of comics, as opposed to the other ones where they're trying to put like new spins on them. And then the problem with that is old fans of those characters are not going to like that, because they're going to be like, oh, well, this isn't #not my New Gods or whatever, right? And this one, you can go in and look at it and be like, oh, this guy's just trying to trying to pretend like this is like an old comic. Like this is clearly not, the same type of, it's not as good as those, right? So, it's a hard sell. I hate to say it. Like I like that they're trying these books, but nothing has clicked for me out of these new ones yet. I gotta give this I'll give it 3.25 because of the Steve Lieber art. Otherwise, I'd probably give it like a 3. I don't know. I didn't really love this issue, unfortunately, but I wanted to. So we'll see. I might check it out again. We'll see what happens. It's a late week that it comes out. Maybe I'll read the second issue, right? So Harley Quinn 46. Great David Nakayama cover. He's part of like all those like artist spotlight covers that he's been doing this month, but he's been the regular cover artist for these variants for Harley for a while now. I've really been enjoying those issues. Chris, the one that you didn't read, it's a miracle. Oh, this is the wrong book. This issue wasn't bad. I liked this issue, actually. This is like the first time in a long time. Make sure to check out the Comic Shop Talk Awards. I'm sure you'll hear me talk about this book there. Maybe not in a positive way. This was good. This is now that she's gotten situated in her neighborhood with her. I think it's a stupid idea about the whole thing about like, the new
the
people,
gentrification or something.
gentrification of the neighborhood. Yeah, which I thought, I'm like, what kind of hipster bullshit is this?
Yeah.
But I will say now that they've situated her, and now that is the let's say the new direction of this story, as as not as much as I wasn't a fan of that when they set it up. I thought this was this was actually really funny. I thought this issue, and it was actually focused in a sense, like they weren't trying to establish a new status quo because they've already done that now for the character in this storyline. And I thought they were really able just to kind of center in on the point of this issue was there's like all these messengers that are coming into the city. And because of that, Chris, because of people are using like things like Amazon and they didn't say Amazon, but like things like of that nature, they're not supporting the local businesses. Right?
No.
So, but you know what? Listen, but they really kind of lead into how stupid like some of the like there's like a whole group of messenger people, and there's a guy that has like superpowers that's a messenger. It got really stupid really fast, but I actually I found enjoyment in it, like how it was funny. Like I actually made me laugh a few times, which, if you're reading a Harley Quinn comic and you're making me laugh, I think that's the best thing I could say about this comic. And yeah, I liked it. I think it's still a stupid story. But and like I don't believe that these are the stories that they're telling in a Harley Quinn book. But now that I've accepted that fact, I read this one and I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was well written and funny. So there you go. That's the best thing I can say about this issue. And it might just be a one-off. Maybe I was drunk because it was the holidays when I read this. I don't know. But for once, I did enjoy this. So I'll give this issue a 3.75. So that's the most I can say about. I've said in a long time in terms of positive notes on this book. So there you go. Next up, we got Creepshow Volume 3, number 4. Again, Chris, feel free to jump in if you remember reading this one. It's been a couple weeks since we read some of these guys. So Creepshow Volume 3, issue 4. I didn't love this issue. Usually there's like at least one out of the two I really strongly liked. I didn't really care for either of these stories all so much. Might be because I wasn't familiar with some of the creative teams on these either, but this first one's called Flesh Wounds. It's got something to do with a soldier and some other nonsense. That's one I can't even remember. I'm going to be honest with you. Chris, do you remember reading this? Did you read this? Or
I think I did read it. Whatever the twists were at the end, I don't think they were that dramatic. And
No.
like I say, nothing to write home about.
No, yeah, I didn't really care for this first story. The second story was a little bit better than the first. It's called Face.
Oh, this is one where the face is in the back of her head.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy too.
Yeah, I didn't mind this one. This is kind of more in the vein of like a body horror type of situation. But again, like Chris said, I didn't feel like the ending was all too impactful. And
The only thing I liked about this one was when she was getting the surgery. It's right there now. When she's getting the surgery done, you figure there's something about some facial thing. You don't really clue in as why she's face down. And then while she was there, like before they put her under, she can hear like a voice saying, help me, or something like that. And then she went under. You don't think nothing of it, and then I guess it all comes back in the end like a good joke. But
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely the better out of the two if I had to choose one. This
yeah,
one was more interesting. They were trying to do some stuff here. And I just I just think it's not the best story I've read here either out of this anthology. So this was, you know what? Actually, this one was okay. I'll say that this was all right. But the first one just, I maybe it was like I read the first one. I really disliked the first one. I just found it boring. By the time I got to this one, it didn't
yeah.
have as much of an impact on me, maybe. But this one was all right, I will say. But otherwise, I give this a 3 out of 5. It wasn't. I don't know, the last couple of issues of this series between this and the holiday special, I think that we talked about before the break, have not been great. But again, it's an anthology. But I think this is one of the more consistent anthologies out there. Like,
It's like a Twilight Zone. It's hard to come out with the hits each and every time.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
And then even when you kind of get like, if they get their formula, then it just becomes, two formula instead of, a face. Now it's a guy that can run really fast or something, and then he ends up breaking his freaking arms. But anyways,
Right. Or it could be like, yeah, I've seen this before. Like you didn't
yeah,
like the artist for that particular story, or yeah, it could be. It is hard. I mean, it's hard to pull off, right? But I thought, I look for. I think the next issue might be the last issue of this volume 3 of this miniseries. Clearly, it's been successful. This is the third miniseries that they've done of Creep Show so far. I've enjoyed it overall, all of them to some
yeah.
degree, right? So, then we got Mystique number 3. Continuing this mini series, where she's basically just running missions. And in this issue, the main thing I recall about this one was that she's like, I like the idea that Declan Shalvey, who's writing and drawing this, is kind of, I like that she's running missions, and I like that she's utilizing her powers, obviously, like being like being able to transform into different people, and you and during these espionage kind of type of missions that she's running, I think is very useful. Like I like seeing her in these situations in this book. In this issue, the Sentinels showed up, which, like you said, you don't know if they're good or bad or like what's going on there. Like
Yeah.
I haven't been reading that miniseries. Did you read this one or no?
No, I didn't read this one. I only just read that first issue of the Sentinels to see what's going on there. It's interesting that they did show up here. So if you were following everything, it'd be a nice little crossover. But
Yeah, that's the thing. I haven't been. So, like, really, all my information about them has been from you. I think
yeah, I
talking
didn't give
about.
you much information.
No, I think you may have talked about the first issue. I can't recall, but which, yeah, and then and then this issue. So, like, it even had like one of those editor's notes where like, oh yeah, check out Sentinels. So I was a little kind of thrown off by that. I think if you have been reading all the X-Men books, this definitely probably would have sat better with you than it did with me. In this one, though, she appears to somebody as Magneto. I guess like one of his followers of some sort. And what he does is like he tries to like he touches him and he has some sort of mutant power. Like it gives him power, and she actually has like the power of Magneto, like a little bit for a moment, but it kind of backfires on her because like it messes like she can't control it very well as a result. So
Yeah, it kind of
basically,
just screws up her game.
yeah. So like that was the most interesting thing about this issue, I will say. So that really kind of puts like a kink in like kind of like her plans here that she has during this mission, right? And it kind of shows like where it could backfire in terms of her appearing as certain people, right? Because she doesn't really know the history sometimes with some of the other people around her in that regard that they have with this person, right? So she tries to look like Magneto. Then later on, she like transforms into Cyclops when it kind of it's convenient to her, like in a situation that will really help her out. So like I like that part about this. I think as like a premise for a mini series or even a series for Mystique, that's really good. So I do like that. That being said, it's just all right. Like Declan Shalvey's writing and drawing this. It's not bad. I just really haven't. I think as a writer, I like him more as an artist. I'll say I think his writing's fine, but he hasn't really written anything that I'm just like, wow, this is amazing yet. But he's writing more and more stuff, so maybe he's just kind of he's getting up there in terms of his writer's experience. So I give this a 3.5 out of 5. It's not bad. Would I've rather have not bought this miniseries and just read it digitally? Probably, though. I'll say that. So Chris, Batman the Long Halloween, the last Halloween, number 4. Did you read this one or
Yeah, I think you might take the lead on this one. I'm not sure if I'm sure I tried to read it.
Okay. This one's Cliff Chang is the artist on this one, who just did that issue. I think it was of was it Donatello? Which turtle was it that was on the beach where he was like he went to that beach with the turtles? Remember that issue number 4 or
I
whatever?
think that was number 3. Number 4 was the crazy.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know what his name is.
number 3. You're right. Yeah. Which turtle was that though? Was that it wasn't Michelangelo? It wasn't Raph? I think it was either Donatello or Leonardo. I think it was Leonardo. Donatello was the one where it got crazy. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So it was so Cliff Chang just drew that Leonardo issue recently. So I enjoy seeing him just coming on and doing one issue of a bunch of things lately because he's a really good artist. I like his stuff. So that's the best thing I could say about this issue. Otherwise, this is an issue like Solomon Grundy showed up, Robin,
Okay, I did read that.
and Alfred helped save Batman. Like he was in a bad position at the end of the last issue, and he almost dies here. So he has to kind of get Alfred to help save him in this, and then by the end, Catwoman shows up and she's with them, and then the big reveal at the end of this issue is they go to Arkham, him and Catwoman, and it looks like the Arkham gates were open, and it looks like Joker now is free, and he's got this whole get up there at the end, and so I don't know. It looks like it's things are happening in this series now. Like he's really got the ball rolling. Like the thing I don't like about this series so far, though, I dropped this by the way. I didn't buy this issue. Jeff Loeb's dialogue is terrible at fucking times. There's some bad dialogue in this comic. The art was good. The story, it's kind of hard to kind of tell what's going on because it's very convoluted. It's a mystery, and there's like all these people showing up, and he does that in Hush and Long Halloween. He did that, like that's kind of like his style. It usually comes back around and comes together at the end, though. I will say that, but some of the dialogue's just awful. That's the only thing I can say about this. That was the thing I didn't like about this issue, let's say, but otherwise it was fine. I mean, it's a Batman comic. Yeah, you have anything to add about this one or?
Yeah, well, I did read this one now that I kind of saw some of the scenes there and you talked about it a little bit. I did like how Robin kind of gets Catwoman to come back with him to the Batcave. I like that part. It kind of shows Robin as a kid again, where he's like he needs help from an adult, but he doesn't know how to get him. So he goes back into whatever.
That's a good point.
Back into Arkham Asylum, knowing that Catwoman's going to be there to kind of to scold him about it. And again, he's like, whoa, no, I'm here on purpose. I need you. Batman's in trouble. And I thought that was, and I know like kind of when this takes place in the Batman Catwoman sort of chronology, but it looks like this is early on in their times together. So
yeah,
I thought that was kind of cool. But
yeah, well, Long Halloween is like the original one. I think it's like in the first year or two or something like that.
Yeah, this can be too far behind that.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I mean, when he almost dies and comes back to life, and he's like hugs him and stuff, that was a good moment. Yeah. And like I said, I like the art. I'm just there's just some dialogue throughout this I thought was not great, but otherwise, the way it ended, I'm like, okay, that's he's got the Mad Hatter hat on. It looks like
the series is going somewhere. Now we're gonna kick it up a notch.
He's got like all of the Arkham Asylum. He's got the Riddler's cage. Like I was like, okay, that's interesting. I'm interested to see where it goes. So it did get me at the end there in that respect, I will say. So it was all right. I'll give this. I'll give it a 3.5.
That's what I was thinking too. Same thing.
Yeah. Next up, Batman, the Gargoyle of Gotham. This you didn't read, you said?
No.
Okay, I got 2 covers for this one. I got this one, the Frank Quietly cover, and then I also got this one, which is the black and white, like the noir edition of this, because I really like Raphael Grandpa's art. So I've been picking up. They've been doing like a black and white version of every issue that he's had. There's some color in certain scenes in this one, it looks like, but otherwise it's all black and white, like his art. So looks really nice. This took I feel like 6 months or something to come out,
Oh,
this issue.
it's been a long time. I forgot about this series when I saw this come up in the solicitations.
Yeah, I think there's one more issue to go for this series. Listen, I love
2026,
Raphael. Sorry, what's that? Is it?
2026 maybe.
Yeah, I love Raphael Grandpa, but he's not a fast artist. This is why we don't see this artist that much. And when he does do some stuff, I always pick it up. But yeah, that's what you're gonna get with this. You're almost honestly better off if he's not already done drawing the book when they announce things like this, which normally they aren't. You should just pick up the collection, because I can't tell you. I don't know what the hell is going on in this story. I wish I can give you guys a better review. I'm just being honest. It's been months since, I don't know how many months since I read the second issue. And this was a weird Batman story to begin with. I think it was even the first 2 issues, I think, were coming out every 2 months. And then this last one came out I don't know, 5-6 months later. So it's, yeah, I'm probably just going to wait till the collection at this point. If I haven't already pre-ordered the last issue, I might just wait. Well, I mean, if there's just one more, I guess I might as well buy it. I've got all the other ones, but it's a weird story. There was some crazy dynamic fight scenes in this issue. So that's the best thing I can say about it. Love the art. Very detailed. Story's weird, and it's a weird Batman story, and maybe it'll read better all in one chunk with the great art accompanying it. But I'm not going to really rate this based on that. I will say the art is like a 5, but the story is I don't know, a 2.5, because I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And let's just say this is a 3 for the sake of giving it a rating. So that's all I can say about this. Wait for the collection is what I'll say about this book. Because if you like Raphael Grandpa or new to his art, he's a really great artist that doesn't do many interiors. So the problem is he's got so much detail in his panels that it takes forever for him to draw something. So I think it's just worth just taking your time, pick up the collection. Look at these pages. There's some great looking pages here. So pick up the collection, and that's probably what I'm going to do too at this point. I might not even talk about the next issue unless I go back and read the whole thing, which maybe I will in time for the 4th issue, because it'll be like Chris said, 6 months from now. So, it'll be 2026. So,
Coming this summer.
yeah.
Part 4.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't say enough things about his art. I think it's great. It's some really creepy looking characters he got in here. And yeah, I think he's Brazilian. I think. Yeah, he's not an American artist. So it's interesting to see the gigs that he ends up getting. Look at this page. This guy chops off all these heads in this. It's there's some crazy stuff happening in this book. I got to tell you, the action scenes are insane. So yeah, that's all I can say about that one. All right, Chris, Black Canary, best of the best, number 2.
There, I got one of the things, the lyrics cover.
Oh, nice. I know I didn't pick that up. It's a nice cover though. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was bagging on this one a little bit, and I thought this issue was a bit better.
Yeah.
I don't mind the history and all, the kind of what leads up to the fight, but the actual fighting is just brutal. I don't know, are they boxing, or is this a wrestling fight, or is this supposed to be MMA type of fighting? It's kind of crazy how it's like a seesaw battle or whatever. They think she's done, and she gets back up. That's the only complaint I have. But otherwise, the training and all that sort of stuff. That is some brutal training. Her mother puts her through, and she's not like a metahuman or anything. She's just go swim and then freaking go run home or chase me in the car and stuff like that. And especially since her mother was a superhero too, I guess.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're a good person, to their family.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Those are my favorite parts of the issue, where the mother training. See, the flashback moments of this story, other than the fight itself, which I guess should be the main focus, but it's not really.
Yeah.
That's the gold in this series so far. I love everything that you're learning about her relationship with the mother. Also, at the end there, her seeing her as a kid dressed up, and how good she looks as the Black Canary, and how she kind of grew up to try to be the Black Canary as well. And then I guess at the end of this, you learn that her mother's sick. It seems I think she's got cancer at the end of this, right? So
Yeah.
That's the good part about this, which is again why I think the Tom King stuff reads better in a chunk, like in a collection, as it does as opposed to issues sometimes, because
Yeah.
the background stuff is actually the important part about this story, which is going to help better inform the main story of this series, right? Because then you're gonna like, but the other shit is just like fluff, like
Yeah, like how are they gonna do freaking 6 more rounds or whatever, 4 more rounds of this? Like,
right,
how can I make the rest of this fight interesting? Okay, oh, I'm losing, I'm winning. Oh, I missed. Like even the announcers starting to get a little old.
right. The art was great though. Ryan Sook is doing
Yeah,
a great job. I mean, it's a good looking book. Good covers for the book. I just opted out after the first issue because I was like, you know what, I'll continue reading this. I hope it's good. I'm gonna pick up the collection because that's kind of where I went with this one. But you're right, Chris. This second issue is better than the first. Yeah. So
yeah. But for me, it's like a 3.5 still. There's still nothing, super exciting going on there. I got a bad relationship with your mother. Boo hoo.
I'll give it a 3.75. I'll give it a little bit more, but I liked it, but yeah, I agree with you. It isn't like the best thing out or anything like that, but better than the first issue, though. I'll say
Yeah.
that much. Then Detective Comics 1092.
Oh, I didn't. At least if I remember what happened in this issue. Well, Batman gets a bit jiggy there. That was some. Is this?
Yeah, it is that one.
Yeah. So this is where he's going after that. Whatever the youth serum or whatever. I guess he's taken it already, and he's reaping the benefits of it.
Yeah.
Hey, I guess I know whatever. Robin's sort of noticing what's going on, and I guess kids have been getting kidnapped. Is that what's going on here too? I believe.
Yeah. Well, people that were he went and took somebody to a safe house the last issue, and then
Yeah.
unfortunately the person got killed in the safe house. Like he was kind of troubled by that in this issue because he's like, I took them somewhere I thought was safe. It didn't turn out to be
Yeah.
safe.
And then you
Yeah.
get kidnapped. That's not good.
Yeah. And
But the
then
one thing I did like about this issue is when Bruce Wayne was going out with, I don't know what her name is, whoever the head of that company, the executive of that company is. They
yeah,
sort of run into trouble, and Bruce is like, okay, I gotta have to play this cool here. I don't want to look too good, but and while he's kind of thinking about how he's gonna take care of the situation, this that executive goes kicks their asses,
yeah.
and you can almost just see like Bruce's freaking eyes go wide with that. He's like, oh wow, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And and then true to form, a few pages later, I guess he shows his thanks.
Yeah, and then at the end, he like hacked her computer. He like put a USB drive on her computer to steal information, and then
Yeah,
he's like with Bruce is with Oracle and him, and he's like, "How'd you get this, Bruce?" He's like, "Yeah, father, how did you get this information?" He's like, "Never mind."
yeah. Don't worry, I'm Batman. And
Yeah,
then I think the big thing at the end is they might be stealing this from kids or something. It's almost like the sacrificers, where
yeah,
they're taking it from the youth, and now he's got this stuff burning in his blood. And I
exactly.
guess before he knew what was going on, but if he's the greatest detective, he should have figured this out before he got this stuff injected into him.
Exactly. I'm loving this book. Honestly, like
Yep, I think it's great.
If Zdarsky is leaving Batman now, I'm happy that Taylor's on detective. A couple of things to add what you said. Yeah, that was one of the main things I was gonna say about like the fact that he's hooking up in this. I love between this and Storm, like, yes, these
Yeah,
characters should hook up more. Like we're starting to see now, like that they're
that's
like,
what that's exactly.
right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No, go ahead.
yeah, but that's what I was thinking. Maybe like there's a shift. I
Yes.
guess one of them had to put it out there, and then it just seems how they. It's odd how we haven't seen any sort of conjugal activities in comics, and at least since I've been buying them. And now what? First, like you say, I remember there was something else. I forgot it was from Wolverine. Like, and that's a total random hookup
Right.
to Batman here with another random hookup, and this is sort of while he's supposedly in
Mhm.
in a situationship at least with Selena Kyle.
Right. Yeah,
So
no, there's definitely been a shift. And you know what? I think it might be crazy to say, maybe I'm totally off base by saying this, but I think it's a result of like, a lot of women like reading like a lot of these fantasy like romantasy books is what they're calling them. Like,
Yeah, like the Harlequin romance there. You got the
yeah. So
whatever Conan on the front there.
I mean, Christine reads a bunch of that kind of stuff, and
Yeah,
like I feel like there is a market for that kind of stuff. So like I'm actually enjoying and guess what? These are adults. Like they should be hooking up with consent. Like, you know what I mean? There should be
yeah,
consensual
for
like kind
sure.
of stuff like going on here in these books. They're all good looking people. Like, who are we kidding here? Right? Like it's like it should be happening more. But you're right. For I think ever since we've started at least doing the show, the last couple of years, we haven't seen anything like this. And all of a sudden, like the last couple of months, I feel like we're seeing this more in some of these like Marvel and DC books, which I think is
Yeah,
let's do, like, I'm all for it. Like I don't need it in every issue, but like once in a while, hey, this guy's gonna have a random hookup, right? Like that's
yeah.
fine.
You want to put an exclamation point on the relationship? There we go. We got it. I
Right.
love it.
And I think the book's really funny. Like Taylor is funny. Like he has
Yeah,
a lot of funny moments mixed with serious stuff in this. Also, he's leaning into the fact that this is detective comics. He is detectiving in this, right? Like he's actually
yeah,
I know that's not like a proper word, but like he's actually investigating things. Like he
yeah. He's not superheroing everything here.
right. No, it's great. I think it's a great book, man. I'm actually really happy with this title. Like,
Well, I
and
hear the next arc with Tom Taylor here is Batman goes on a pirate ship.
oh no,
He's afraid to climb stairs.
I hope you're joking.
He better not.
Yeah, no. If it goes the Nightwing route, I'm out. I'm out. So
I'm
far,
out, Jerry.
yeah. So far, so good though. Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. I wish I picked this stuff up. It's
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a hell of a lot better than whatever was going on with those Arkhams that
yeah.
I think had a 3 year story run going on before this arc that went nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm all in on this run so far. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's good.
been about 3 issues, I think, or so, or something.
Yeah.
So, like, what'd you give this?
Uh, I'll give it 3.75. It could be a 4 even, but I'll stay with 3.75.
Oh yeah, I'm going there. I'm going to go to honestly 4.25. I like this issue a lot. I think it's actually gotten better each issue. It's one of those type of things. I know we've been saying that for a
I
couple
do
of
like the twist though that Batman's got this,
yeah,
tainted blood running through him now. And he's liking it too though.
yeah. Yeah, because when he's fighting Damien in that one scene, he's like, "Yeah, you're definitely faster, Father. You're reacting faster."
Yeah, you're thinking faster.
Right. So, I mean, listen, he might, and now
That's the price.
he having sex with the person he was supposed to be investigating. I don't know.
I know, man.
They might win him over, these guys, right?
The corners are pretty short.
Next up, we got Geiger number 9 this week here. What do you think of this one, Chris?
Yeah, this is where Geiger goes out of control, right?
Yeah, kicks everyone's ass.
Yeah, can't complain about that. But then, even then, when Nate the Knight, which at the beginning I thought was some crazy character that wasn't worth anything, he seems to be a pivotal player in this. And I do like a few lines that Geiger throws out there. Whoever comes to attack him, it's one of the Queen's Knights, and last time I killed that guy just to warn you, and now you're not listening, and he freaking goes ballistic. And I think they thought they had the cure to shut him down with that boron dust or something, and Nate the Knight there ends up coming to help him and washes them off, and and then he's just enraged, and he almost takes out Nate the Knight, and he's like, "Whoa, Mr. Geiger," or whatever, Tariq, relax, it's me, your friend. And I guess he does calm down, and then I guess he puts to bed all this stuff with this town. I'm still thinking this is a great comic here, and this story is pretty it's up there. I like it.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think this is a good conclusion to the current storyline, and yeah, I'm all in still as well. Like Chris said, I'm enjoying this story here, and I'm interested to see where this goes. Right, and then at the end, Junkyard Joe showed up, and it looks like
Like I'm not familiar with him, but it looks like he's hunting him. But from what I understand, Junkyard Joe is he's a heroic type character. He's not an evil guy, but it looks like they might be crossing paths and having a little head-to-head confrontation there.
yeah, and then he even teased the fact that like Redcoat is also apparently looking for, like, it seems like he's
Oh
connecting.
there was something in this about like something about almost a shared universe between those books, and I guess Redcoat could, because
Yeah.
Redcoat, he's immortal, right?
Yeah. Plus, he's gone through time. He's
Yeah,
immortal.
so he
And
could be around in the, or it makes sense that he would be around in this time still.
yeah. So I mean, like, it looks like he's kind of now connecting all of his properties that he's got going.
I
Or at
do
least
hear a lot of good things about Redcoat, though.
I know. I think I need to revisit that one because I think I
I
like
think,
the first couple of issues. I was like,
yeah,
this is weird. And then I have heard good things about it. You're right. Yeah.
and
So
here, and same thing about the Rook Exodus, but I'm still enjoying Geiger, and if Redcoat comes in, I'm all for it. If he's doing well in whatever he's doing, he's a fleshed out character. I'm happy to see it happen here.
yeah, same. What'd you give this?
I'll give this 3.75.
Same. Yep. Yeah. 3.75. Next up, Justice League Unlimited #2.
Here it is.
I'm very interested to see what you thought about this one, Chris.
Well, that's then more art. You can't complain about that.
No.
Especially, with him doing all these freaking characters here. Nothing wrong with that. The way the story's going, there's some nice beats that I like. I do like having Wonder Woman and Marvel Girl together.
Yeah.
Trying to take out whatever the Parademon Hive, and they kind of reference that they both have the wisdom of the gods, and I thought that was a nice little homage there. But she's like, I think Wonder Woman or Mary Marvel says, hey, they might have same, or Mary Marvel thought it was like this different names for the same gods, and Marvel Wonder was like, oh, these are different people. But I thought that was a nice little call out there. Hey, the stuff with John or whatever, Martian Manhunter, not being sort of on the level with the whole Justice League, is not all of his powers returned. I don't know. That didn't run a little hokey, but I do like a parademon that is sort of separated from the hive and has some free thought. I thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, this whole art through here, can't complain about that one bit. Like
No.
every panel is decent.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the right artist for a Justice League book for sure. Yeah, I like this more than the first issue. Even this Dr. Occult Martian Manhunter stuff was fun. This kind of felt like after he kind of had to move this book into the new direction and status quo in the first issue. This second issue, this felt like the Dan Mora and Mark Waid of like Batman, Superman, World's Finest at its best. And like what I mean by that is just like, let's just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks with a fucking like 20 different characters going on here. And like you said, it's all beautifully drawn by Mora, who draws everybody well, it seems like. So, and can actually keep up with that kind of demand in a team. I don't know how either, but he's doing it. And I'm actually really enjoying this with the second issue. I think this is a good example of the first issue. We weren't so sure. That's why I was interested to hear what you had to say. And I think this one was really good, and I'm looking forward to see where this goes. But, I think this is just feels like them continuing the World's Finest stuff here with the second issue, honestly. So I'm okay with that, because when that book was really good, it was really good. But then, every once in a while you might get an arc that wasn't so good. So, I'm interested more in that than whatever this whole new status quo with the all in and the different absolute stuff. I'm more interested in, like, let's just do fun Justice League stories as opposed to like this bigger scale type story where it's just like,
I'm sure that's what's the good thing about this new Justice League, is they can pull from anybody they want, because everybody's basically just hanging around the watchtower. It's like, oh, we have a mission first, so you, let's go.
Right. Yeah, which I'm all for, honestly, if they just tell stories like that. If like every mission just like, okay, yeah, these are the people we need for this mission. Yeah, like I'm all, like you said, it's gonna look good as long as Mora's drawing it. So yeah, we'll see. I'm along for the ride for right now. So what'd you give this?
Yeah, I give it a 3.75.
I'll go 4 on this one. Yeah, I like this one. Superman 21, Chris.
Is this another Mora art book?
No. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I even questioned that myself there. Yeah, this is him and Williamson. Thank God he's doing something other than the book with Mark Waid, too. I like that, too.
Yeah, but this is what Superman needs. If Mora has to go somewhere, ditch Justice League and stay on Superman.
I know. It's a great looking book. Look at this. Look at this. Like,
yeah. And, this was a bit of a filler issue. I guess the Mercy Corps has what's his name, Doomsday under wraps, and they get some time together with Superman and Lois, or whatever, Clark and Lois, and they kind of Clark's trying to get her to hone in on her powers, and it sounds like she has a pretty good hold of them. And just every scene here, you can't go wrong with any of these scenes here. Cuts into a few different date nights. Yeah, I don't know why they should have just saved this one for February. It could have made it like a Valentine's issue or something. But other than that, I thought this issue was great.
Yeah.
And it just gives Lois a new appreciation of Clark as Superman. Like when she's like, being a reporter, goes, "Oh, I can't believe how hard it'd be to do all this sort of stuff and not write about it when that's your job." So I thought that was a little interesting, kind of whatchamacallit, an issue point from Lois there. And the way she solves this issue here, with, I don't know who these people were. I think this was a bit of a cut.
Yeah, Amethyst and Gemworld. That's where they went. Yeah, that's like a D-list character, but they
but she basically solves this through diplomacy.
Yeah.
And you think that's a nice issue all in, and then at the end, it's like they're out in Smallville, just kind of being themselves there, enjoying coffee, and they get a call from no, it's Power Girl or Supergirl. It's like, hey, help, help, help. And
Chris, how about this Lex and Mercy though?
Oh yeah, Lex and Mercy. Poor Mercy, poor Lex. What are they going to do with this guy, man? He's coming back. Now he's going to come back and ask sooner or later.
Yeah, but Chris, like, this is sexy Lex here when he comes in. He's like, hey.
Like I say, there's more of that now. There's a shift. There's been a shift, a seismic shift in the DCU.
Just like that. He's like, hey, you need some coffee? And he comes through. It's like,
I've been noticing you all these years. I might not have my memories, but I know you like your Vento Grande.
He's like freshly cut. He's got like his black tee on. He's like thin. I was like, what's going on here? So
good stuff all around. And then, like I said, at the end there were all the survivors of the worlds that what's his name? I forget his name now. But whatever killed, they're all there. We go, we want him back, or we're gonna kill you. And it's like, ooh, they're in a tough spot.
Oh, Doomsday. Yeah. I agree. This was a really good issue. I really liked this, and I even liked those little moments in between catching up with Jimmy Olsen and Doomsday and like Lex and what's going on there. And like you said, Mora once again just killed it on the art in this. Can't wait to kind of get more on this whole Doomsday storyline. Honestly, this was like a nice kind of issue where they were, stringing that story along, but also focusing on the whole Lois being Superwoman kind of aspect right now too. So yeah, good stuff. I like the book. I think it's really good right now. It's very good right now.
It's as good as it's been for me as I've been reading it.
Yeah, absolutely. What'd you give this?
I guess 4, easy.
Yeah,
4.25. 4. Come on, Barbie. I'm not going crazy here.
I'll give it a 4 as well. Good stuff. Then we got Void Rivals number 15.
I might have to take the lead on this. I did read it.
Okay. I think this might be my last issue pre-ordered for this because I think I'm finally just going to collect it. Basically, the big thing in this is that he's the main male character here in this story. He's been bringing these Transformer through space back to his world, and he was able to meet up with his other Transformer friend who's been hiding in plain sight. As because even when he shows up, there's no, I think we would know if there was other things of this, the beings like this in our planet, and then all of a sudden, like, his buddy comes down like as a chopper. I forgot which Transformers these are, but he comes down and like transforms out of like a plane, like a chopper of some sort, and he's like, what? You're like, what the hell? I mean, like, so that was kind of fun. And then in the female characters storyline, which again I never remember these guys' names, these two. Her whole thing now is that she falls down this like deep, like black hole on her planet.
Yeah, she's looking for that Zerta Prime or something.
Yeah, so basically, the person that knows all about this situation and that they worship and all this stuff, like, she comes across something like that, like in her travels on her planet there. And it looks like they're finally connecting the dots of the reason as to why the Transformers are important, their Cybertronian like history with these people, or how these two races essentially connect or are utilized, let's say, towards like the transform, because they can't figure out the Transformers planet is so far away from their planet, like they don't feel like there should be any connection between them, but there is a deep rooted connection between not only these opposing alien races, as we've learned from this comic, but also I think with the Transformers as well. Or like it seems like they're the ones that are mining like the
the whatever Energon or something.
yeah, like there's some sort of connection going on there, and they keep circling around it and hinting at stuff. And it's just taking a while to kind of get to that core of like what's really going on here. And that kind of has seemed like it's been the main purpose of this whole series, 15 issues in, right? So
Yeah.
I'm still in. I'm still going to read this, but I'm probably just going to pick up the collections of this now moving forward, because like on an issue to issue basis, as you've pointed out, like I've kind of lost the thread on certain aspects of this story, but I still really find this interesting. And I think it is important, I think, to the whole Energon universe stuff. Kirkman knows what he's doing here. Like, and there's some issues that feel like more involved than others, but but this one is definitely like half the issue you see Transformers in it. So like this is one of those issues where you're like, yeah, I can tell why this is important to the overall storyline or whatever, right? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I feel like this issue, like they're just kind of keeping this Void Rivals in a holding pattern until whatever their purpose is revealed. Like the way the Transformers are used in here, it was always good when it was a cameo, like, oh, Transformers here, what does that mean? But now that they're more available in this timeline or in this issue, it kind of loses the impact of them being there. There's still the stuff with those quintessence or whatever, those spinny heads, and whatever that mutant bounty hunter. He's got some stuff going on in there too. But I thought the story was more interesting when it was kind of more of these two worlds and how they're forced to be, pitted against each other when the leaders are basically in cahoots.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all this will like turn into something, because like I said, I trust Robert Kirkman. He's got something going on in here.
Yeah. I mean, he's
just not ready to reveal it.
No. Yeah. So what'd you give this one?
Let's give it the 3.5 though.
I'll go 3.75 on this one. But yeah, I still enjoy the series, but I think I am dropping it now. I think this is my last issue, I think. But I'll continue reading about it and talking about it here on the show digitally. Next up, West Coast Avengers #2. Got this one here.
Yeah, I know about this West Coast Avengers. It's not hitting me right. Like I'm not liking Tony Stark here. I'm not liking what's going on with what's her name? Firestar. Like, is she a boozer or something?
Yes.
Because I know they did pick her up in a bar, but I thought, okay, well, maybe she's just having a night out.
Oh, she's trashed when she shows up there.
Yeah.
It seems like in this issue. Yeah.
And come on, don't do that to Angela, please, or Angelica, whatever her name is. And yeah, whatever else is going on here, I think who they're fighting in this boat. It looks like they have everything sort of under control, and the tables get turned on them. I forget who it's by, but I don't know. Maybe this just still needs some time to breathe. I think these new issues, they're giving them too much rope in the beginning. If you're gonna hang yourself right away, let's deal with it from there.
I actually don't mind the stuff with her being like she's on the sauce a bit here, because like the reason being
I know why she's on the sauce there. She's been put through the ringer.
That's what I mean. So it's actually I know you don't like to see it, but it actually makes sense in terms of like if you've been following what happened to her at the end of the Krakoa stuff, then listen, and I'm sure she'll shape up here, hopefully at some point. But I think I did like this issue better than the first one. There is some interesting things going on, but I'm not there 100% either. I'm with you. I agree. It's not. Some things aren't working for me. Some things are. I like Duggan though, so I have faith that this is gonna get to an interesting place. And the fact that Ultron's in the mix,
yep,
Like,
And I guess it was revealed that it is a good Ultron, and there
right,
is an evil Ultron out there.
right. Because she freaks out and sees Ultron because of,
Yeah,
I guess, past occurrences with what's his name there, Nimrod,
yeah,
and she freaks out. And then at the end, like you said, the bad Ultron shows his face up on a monitor, and the good Ultron sitting there, like not knowing what the hell is going on,
yeah.
right?
He's
So,
a good robot. What are you talking? Don't look at me.
right. So there's some interesting things going on here, I still think, but you're right. I'm not. Also, the art's just okay for me. I don't know. The art's fine. It's nothing to write home about.
Sorry, you put more on this issue, it'd be freaking jackpot.
Oh well, yeah, of course, yeah, I agree. So yeah, it's I'm still with it. I'm with it for now.
Yeah,
But like after the first arc, I might drop it if it doesn't find its it
yeah.
wins.
I was like
Yeah. What'd you give this?
3.5.
Yeah, I kind of have to because there is some things I don't love about it either. So yeah.
Yeah,
X-Men #9. Love these covers, man. I gotta tell you, loving
yeah.
these.
I don't know what happened to mine. I got to talk to this guy. I'm pretty sure I have it in my pull list.
Okay,
Hopefully, when you're talking about everything got messed up, I did miss a few issues, and that was one of them.
right.
But yeah, I definitely wanted that issue, and I do want this issue. I thought it was a great issue.
I actually
For
don't have,
talking about
I don't have the art for this one. Sorry, go ahead. I just don't have
yeah,
the art.
talking about some series that finding their legs.
Yes.
This raid on Greymalkin. I thought it was kind of hokey how they're fighting each other, but it seems like they were under some sort of influence in that Greymalkin building, and I guess they broke free from that influence. It seems, and they did end up in some sort of conundrum there when they feel that whoever's that prisoner could be Charles Xavier behind them. That's who they assume is back there.
Right.
And then they kind of have this, a different philosophy on whether we should save him or not. And I thought that was interesting. Whether who's who and what's saying. I think it was Rogue was like, yeah, we got to free him. It's what it is. And then there's Cyclops. If anybody would be, you think that would be ready to save Charles Xavier would be Cyclops.
Right.
And he's like, whoa, pump the brakes here a little bit. Think about what he did. It goes like, especially that one line goes, I was there when Xavier, like I think he wiped out a whole fleet or something in that whatever the Fall of X or something. And he does make some good points to why maybe we just got to keep this guy on ice for a while till we figure our shit out. And I think this series is finding its legs. I enjoyed this one a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you. This crossover actually has been, I think, beneficial for the book. We had an interesting artist on here, which I liked, Federico Vincentini,
Yeah,
who I think this was possibly his first issue on the title, but I've seen his artwork before and I really like it. And yeah, and I think this is an interesting story. Like it's kind of hitting all the right beats of the X-Men. Obviously these people have relationships with one another, and yeah, I think this is the first time that the X-Men book has actually felt like an X-Men book in that regard,
yeah,
right? Because I feel like this whole time we've had everybody separated and they all have like kind of new directions of like what they're trying to set out to do. And this, like having them together, like trying to figure out, like, you know what I mean? Like both their sides of this situation, I think has really felt like we're having the whole team together here again.
yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's good stuff. I like this issue as well. Yeah, agreed. So
And in
hopefully,
the end, was it Professor X that came out at them, or who was that came out at them at the end?
oh yeah. No, so he does come out, but the person from behind the wall has not yet. We don't even
Yeah,
know
but
who's
you
there.
don't know who's even behind there.
No, because in the last page you see Charles walking up, and he basically says,
And he's
yeah,
not looking too happy either.
no, but he says, no, they chose to bury me deep underground as befits a dead man, but here I stand resurrected from the ashes, as it were.
Yeah,
Like he hits on the, and
yeah. He's got what? He's got who does he have with him? Nightcrawler and
Psylocke, yeah, Psylocke, and
Psylocke, sort of,
but like,
subdued.
right, but like he interrupts like Juggernaut getting in the vault in this last scene, right? So like he's kind of already mangled it up a bit.
Yeah,
And so who the hell knows who's in there,
yeah.
right?
Who's
So,
talking to them?
yeah, so I guess we'll find out. But yeah, good stuff. I did like this issue. What'd you give this?
Yeah, I'm giving it a 4. I liked it.
Same. Yep. All right, and then finally, for the week of December 25th, we got Amazing Spider-Man 64 here. Another Marvel versus Capcom cover. I got the Spidey issue here. Sorry, Spidey cover. There you go.
Yeah, Spidey cover, and I got the. I don't know. I guess he thought I wanted to.
No,
I still don't mind his cover with this
no, it's not bad.
this new suit. Not
Yeah,
too bad.
yeah.
And this issue wasn't too bad either. Finally Spider-Man gets a freaking win, and he didn't die. I was worried about this Justina Ireland coming in. I heard a lot of bad things about her, and I thought the art was decent for this. And hey, Spider-Man got a W. Didn't have to die. I don't think she. I don't think the writer, at least, stretched any sort of boundaries here or anything. Kind of just did the job, and I thought the job was decent. These two scions arguing about each other. Thought that was okay. So yeah, it was overall a decent issue. Nothing crazy good, but
Yeah.
not bad for sure.
I don't know. I'm not really liking this new storyline now. I thought it started out fine, but now I'm losing interest. Let's say we all know already that this is just a stopgap arc, which it seemed to be as soon as
There
they.
could be more to this, though, from what I hear. This could
Oh,
be affecting the X-Men a lot somehow, because the
okay,
X-Men are coming in near the end.
okay. I
That's what I hear. This could be there could be some legs to this. Maybe not for Spider-Man, but for the
okay,
Marvel universe.
okay. I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll see, right? But as an issue, I thought this was just okay. I don't know. I think it's not really so much like I thought the issue was fine, but like the storyline itself, I'm just not as interested in it now as I've gotten some more of it. I'm losing kind of interest fast here on this one. So I'm really just kind of looking forward to the new direction, whatever that may be now with Joe Kelly being the main writer and our boy John Romita Jr. Of
Filling
course.
in.
Yeah.
Hope he just filled in for like some dream sequences or something. But
So yeah, it was okay. I like you said, there was a couple of good moments in this issue, but yeah, I don't know. This doesn't feel like Spider-Man to me though. I don't know what's going on in this book. It's weird.
yeah,
It's yeah. So they're trying something different. Yeah. What'd you give this?
I'm gonna give it a 3.75 compared to what's been going on here. That's a rating versus other issues, a comparative rating, not a
Okay.
rating for a comic.
Okay. I'm just gonna go just one beneath you there. I'll go 3.5 on this one out of 5. So yeah,
Well,
but
I'm a big Spider-Man fan. 3.5 easy. Could even be a 3.25.
yeah. All right, Chris. So, what is your favorite of this week? The last week of 2024, December 25th, that we're talking about now before we get into January 1st week here, the first week of the new year. What was your favorite of this? All the comics we just talked about here.
Yeah, there were a few in there. I did like the X-Men. I did like Detective Comics, but I think I have to go with Superman.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, Detective Comics is definitely in the mix for me. So was Superman, actually. Yeah, Superman for sure. That was solid. But yeah, I should come as no surprise. I gotta go with my girl here, Absolute Wonder Woman. Gotta go with this. This was, I don't know. I just love this book. Like I don't know if I'm in the minority here because from people I've just talked to in passing in terms of the Absolute releases, I think like everyone's going crazy, batshit crazy over the Batman one, which I honestly right out the gate I would have agreed with you. I would have thought that would have been the one I thought was the best. But for me, this Wonder Woman's got some legs.
No,
So
the Wonder Woman's got the best storyline so far for
I
sure.
agree. I agree with you.
Like,
Yeah, I
like
agree.
the Batman one's okay. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of funny, but
Yeah.
this is the true comic era for Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So there you go. Those are our last favorite of the weeks for 2024. Now moving on to January 1st here, first week of 2025, a much smaller week of books that we're going to talk about here today, and longer show than usual because like I said, we try to combine the 2 weeks. No art for this one, so yeah, we'll have to try to recall some of the stuff here without art. But Deadpool and Wolverine #1, Chris, what'd you think of this one? Benjamin Percy, Joshua Cassera on art. I know we were kind of like, is this going to be good? Is it going to be bad? What'd you think?
I didn't think it was too bad. I like the way they got each other. They got them fighting each other,
Yeah.
and I thought the cover of this one is freaking. That's a killer cover for sure. if you have it there. Yeah, fuck, those two guys on covers, when they just get them freaking posing up, can't go wrong with that. And I think with Wolf or Deadpool was sort of under the influence of something. And when they were doing that, it's almost you thought he was focused on the job because he stopped kind of doing his little quips and all that, and Wolverine was kind of happy about that. And out of nowhere, Wolverine just freaking stabs him in the eye, and he pulls out his eyeball. And then there's like some nanotech goo or something going on there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't mind this issue. I don't mind this the team up these two guys. I thought they gelled well here together, and I imagine they're just trying to run off some of the heat from the Deadpool Wolverine movie, and I think this does a good job there. If you're a fan of the movie, you should be, or if you're a fan of their relationship in the movie, you'll be a fan of this comic book.
I thought this was really good. Actually, I like this issue a lot, like you said. And Benjamin, like oh man, we're so I don't know what's going on with this Benjamin Percy. I'm so hot and cold with this guy. I never tell which one's coming to the show. You know what I mean? Like which one's showing up. This is him getting in his action film bag here. You know what I mean? Like this is very funny Deadpool, which is what you want. I thought it was great art. Joshua Cassera, I knew the art was going to be good. Great artist. He did a bunch of the X-Men issues for Jerry Duggan's X-Men. So it looks great. And yeah, he got the relationship between Wolverine. We already know he does a good Wolverine. I thought like a lot of the Wolverine issues that he did was good. Benjamin Percy, especially the second half of that run. So yeah, this was a really good issue. I actually might pick up this issue, and I didn't pick it up. I might actually go seek this one out because like you said, between the cover, the interiors, the art, and just it was a fun action kind of packed issue. I thought it was good. And if this is a mini series, I might be in on this now. I don't know.
Wolverine needs some hits, man.
Yeah.
He's got a bad run recently. Like you said, the last few issues of his own series were decent. Right. But then with that Weapon X-Men, that was a miss, let's say. And then his Wolverine series now, like, I have to say that's a miss.
Yeah.
And it's good to see him freaking come up with a hit here.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see how it goes. It's looking good so far.
I might pick this up. Yeah, it's good stuff. What'd you give this?
Yeah, it's 3.75.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was almost gonna give it a 4, but yeah, 3.75. But honestly, like it could get better from here on out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if the story picks up and goes a bit deeper than just some quips and some good art.
Yeah,
you could have something here.
Yeah. Absolute Superman number 3, Chris.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
All I can say about this issue is they're trying to make things make sense here. Like with Superman being a man of the people. Oh, and then back on Krypton, his family was demoted to the laborers. And in school he gets in trouble because he likes to write with his own words. Oh, that's why he's a journalist in whatever in the mainline Superman. It's like enough of that stuff. But there were things I liked, like Superman's mom. Holy smoke, she kicked some ass in this one. I can't complain about that one bit. When there's that one page where she kind of like, Clark, we're going downtown. Like, I guess Jor-El's been arrested or something.
Yeah.
And then and then she's like, I don't know what kind of freaking gun she pulls out. And she's like, okay, this is the plan. We're going downtown. We're gonna go get him. If something happens, you come back here super quick. And then like the twist in the story there is when they get back is that the rocket ship isn't just for Clark or Kal-El. It's for freaking everybody they can fit in. And then there's another side story that all the upper elites have known about this. And, whenever they're always kind of giving Jor-El the business saying, oh, you're wrong. They knew he was right the whole time and they've been preparing for it on their own. So those are some nice little beats, I guess. But otherwise, I don't know. The more I talk about it, it sounds like it's not bad, but somehow it's still bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's still because this feels like the same type of story that we're telling here of Superman. Like it's so hard to drastically change any of the elements that need to work with Superman to
Yeah.
make him an interesting character, which is a character I don't quite frankly find all that interesting to begin with. Like I'm not like, I like Superman, but I'm not like, he's not one of my favorite characters, let's say, but I always, try to give a shot to like, but that being said, we just talked about the Superman ongoing series right now. It's really good. I think it's a great
Yeah.
series, but yeah, this isn't working for me all too much. I don't know what it is. I think you kind of hit on it when you first started talking there about how it's like very heavy-handed, like the stuff. Like we get it. He's a lower class person, like on Krypton.
Yeah.
Also, I don't like how much time we spent on Krypton past stuff when
The whole issue was almost in Krypton.
right.
And whatever took place in the future, there was just a little bit of a swerve there. There's some lady in their hospital bed calling out for their flying angel, and then they have the Kent wristband, and from what we understand so far is that the Kents really have nothing to do with Clark,
Yeah.
but I guess that's yet to be discovered.
Right. Yeah. So I also just don't like what Jason Aaron has been choosing. Like you're not making a good argument for me. Here, Jason, I'm sorry to say for me saying you used to be one of my favorite writers. Like I don't know what's going on here. Like I just not buying what you're selling here. I guess like it's not all coming together for me. Like it seems like it should be better than it is, and yet it isn't. I don't know. It's not getting there for me. This is probably my least favorite of the Absolute, as I've been saying the last couple of issues. Nothing has changed. Yeah, so
the only thing that got me concerned here is in the whatever they say up next for the next issue is like the Omega Men, and the only I'm not sure what the Omega Men are, but the only thing I think about when I hear Omega Men is Lobo, because that's where he first appeared.
That's right.
If they bring Lobo into this comic, that could freaking change everything.
I do know for a fact that he is a fan of Lobo too, Jason.
So if they bring Lobo in here, that could put everything on its head there. But
that's a good point.
If they do that, then holy smokes, I'm back in. But right now, I'm out.
Same.
I'll read it, but I'm not buying it.
Same. This is my last issue that I had pre-ordered. So yeah.
I think I'm supposed to have this issue. They didn't give it to me, and I don't know if I'll bring it up.
When you get your list together next week of the ones that you missed,
ones I missed. Yeah, well, I didn't miss Superman 3, but that's all right, my friend.
So what'd you give this?
3.5.
I don't know, 3.25. I gotta give it, I think, because you're right, it's deserving of the 3.5, but I'm just not. It's not gelling with me. I don't know. It's not all coming together. I don't know. It's got all the elements, but
I can't be hot for Superman's mom. That's wrong. That's just wrong.
Next up, Avengers 22, Chris.
Oof. Here we go.
Yeah. Here, let me show
what 1 or 2 pages can do to change a comic. That's all I can say. That's one that I missed too. Jesus Christ, he better get this one for me. I'm gonna have to track this one down. The whole issue in the beginning, whatever, they got their Ocean's 11 freaking deal going on, trying to go steal. What are they trying to steal?
I don't even know. That's
I don't even know what they're trying. They're trying to steal something from these tribulation events or something. Who knows? And there's I forget who the big Grand Master is. They go to his casino.
Sorry, it's literally just a data archive that they're saying that they're stealing. Yeah, from Kang, essentially, that was up for auction. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and they think they're gonna go to this casino and they're playing the guy, and it turns out the guy is playing them. And then the last 2 pages, they go to break-ins. They have the big plan to do the ultimate heist. Which, first of all, I don't think the Avengers should be heisting anything. You know what I mean? Like, if these are the Avengers, they got to be doing everything on the up and up. But anyways, that's besides the point. But they do enact their plan to steal something. They break into this vault, and then they take it. Oh, there it is. Pow. It's missing. And then the greatest part is freaking when it's Tony Stark that realizes it's Black Cat. He's like, no, not her.
This woman won't get out of my life, and
exactly. I thought that was just great.
She keeps and again, as Chris and I have read the Jed McKay Black Cat series. If you've read it, and this is Jed McKay writing this, then if you know, about the past things that have happened with these 2 characters that he just brought here into this Avengers story. It's great stuff. Yeah,
and she doesn't even say anything. There's one scene where you like, well, from the cover, you know it's her because you
Right.
see the white hair. And then, you just see her freaking walking away with, I don't know who else, and just winking. And that just made the whole story. It's like, they have all these plans going on, and freaking, this is the Avengers that planned this. And freaking Black Cat does this on her own, and she's like some C-list character compared to them.
Yeah.
Great stuff. I loved it.
I just love that Jed McKay keeps finding ways to to insert her into everything he
I'm
does.
just glad Jed McKay likes Black Cat.
Yeah, I mean, I loved his Black Cat run, loved it. I mean, like, that's the only reason I gave those trades to you is because I got the omnibus, right? Because I was like, I got that big hardcover. I was like, I think he's just got a great voice for it. I love capers, like, you know what I mean? Like you said, the
Yeah.
Ocean's 11 type of stuff. Yeah, it's great stuff, and she's a great character. So like, I'm so happy that he continued. Like, even when the series ended, it got canceled, then restarted, then canceled again, or ended, whatever. I think it got canceled. And then he's like, okay, I can do King in Black tie-in issues. I'll bring Black Cat into that.
Yeah.
Like, he keeps finding ways to bring her along for the ride. Honestly, I can't get enough. I love it. It's great stuff. So seeing her show up in Avengers is reason enough to celebrate on this one. Honestly, like, yeah. What'd you give this, Chris?
I give this a 4 all day,
Same.
especially for Avengers. Avengers have been so bad since the beginning of their run here.
Yeah. No, again, finding its legs in the second half of this run. So honestly, I would say, like, since like issue 12, which I know is not an a great endorsement on this series. Yeah, skip the first 12 issues and then but it actually did get better after that. I gotta say, yeah, it's weird, but anyways, Batman 156.
Oh yeah, that's another one I didn't get.
Oh,
but I did read it.
Yeah.
I did like it.
It's good. Yeah.
It's good stuff. Like, I think this is where Chip Zdarsky would have been freaking a few arcs ago if he didn't get sidetracked the whole time. Yeah, I hear a lot about hate about what's happening with Chip. I think Chip's a good writer, and the stuff here with what's that, Commander Star? It turns out he was the KG Beast, which is,
I love that.
I think Batman would freaking realize if you see the KG Beast, even if he's wearing the Commander Star costume, you go, hey, he's had like personal interaction with him up close. You might go, hey, I am a good detective, and I figure it might be the KG Beast. It's still a few things don't track for me here. I understand that the Mad Hatter, or the Riddler.
Yeah.
He's just doing this to play the game. He doesn't really care who's funding him and all that. But then once he finds out that it's the Russians funding him, he's like, oh, fuck, here, man. Sorry, Batman. I didn't know it was the Russians. And then, I didn't know the Court Owls were Russian now. Right. And now that changes everything for the cage for the Riddler. So that didn't really track for me. If he's really villainous, he doesn't care. Look, I supplied these Court of Owls people there. They're going to supply me. And then everything sort of turned around from there. Wasn't it the what's that? The Wayne Industry, I don't know, board of directors almost come up to Bruce Wayne and they almost apologize to him about what's going on. So a lot of things got kind of flipped around there a little quickly, let's say. But otherwise, I was happy with the story, though.
Yeah, I really liked this as well. I think the next one might be his last issue. It seems like they're wrapping things up. Maybe it's one or two issues.
It's March or April that Hush starts.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's definitely coming to the end of this, and maybe then he'll have an epilogue issue of sorts. And I hope that he's able to kind of
just say a story that he's got in his mind that might not be part of continuity. Yeah. I did like the art in here too, though, even though it's not our guy. But I thought it was great art here as well.
Oh yeah, this is, I think, Tony Daniel is a great artist. That's who did this one, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, they brought in a good artist for this last story here. It's a good issue. I actually thought the swerve of the KG Beast at the end was a cool one.
Yeah, because everybody thought it'd be his brother is his twin, and that guy's almost seems to fall out of the story now, which I hope it does, because I was kind of crazy to begin with.
I enjoy the KG Beast whenever he shows up, and I think it's kind of obviously timely with all the Russia stuff going on. So it's interesting. I kind of liked it. I didn't see it coming. I liked how the other story has come to kind of its conclusion in terms of the Riddler and the Gordon and the stuff that was going on there. And
the Gordon with the Mad Hatter, he was
yeah, I think this last issue of Batman I actually gave my favorite of the week to. So I'm kind of sad to see it go. I feel like he got a little bit short shrift here at the end, but he's still sticking the landing in terms of bringing it in. Honestly, like this isn't a Captain America end of that run type scenario where he's just like,
sorry guys, I'm out.
This is like, I'm gonna do the best I can with what I was given here, and he's doing right, I think, by his run here. Right? I know a few issues ago we weren't so sure if that was gonna happen, but I think I can think back on this on a positive light by the end of this now, I think, at this point.
Yeah, so, wherever Chip Zdarsky falls, I'll follow. You know, I hope he ends up with Marvel on a good title, or I just hope he gets a good title, which he should. He deserves it still.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good stuff. So what'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75 still.
Same.
Could be a 4, but
3.75. Yeah, I agree. Spawn 360, Chris.
Spawn 360. Hold on, let me get the. Where's my Spawn? There we go. Not much to see on the cover. It's freaking awesome as always. Who's the artist? Is Brent Booth. Great stuff here. And whatever the whole issue there, Spawn still depowered. I think he's planning on setting up a meeting with the Blood, the leader of the vampires, hoping to kind of coerce a deal out of him or something. And this Blood vampire, he's like, "Oh, you thought you'd come here and make a deal? I'll give you some power, because I've been waiting for this time here that none of you, these angel and demons, have power." And he freaking he kicks Spawn's ass, and he kills him. Like, Spawn is freaking killed, dead. He's lying there on the ground. He's got a freaking spike through his chest, and he has no powers that are available to him. And even in the captions, they say, "Oh, okay, and this is his last heartbeat." And then in the last couple of pages, I don't know, some demon shows up. I don't know who she is. And like, she starts giving Spawn shit and goes, "I told you this would happen." And she's lifting him up over his head. And then you can see all this green ooze coming out. So somehow he's going to get revived, but we'll see what things go from there. But it's the art in this. The only thing I don't like about Spawn is that freaking, or Image, or like these Spawn titles, is they're taking all the good artists and freaking let these guys go back to Marvel, freaking do some good stuff and some good stories.
They're paying
with characters everybody loves. Like, not that Spawn, I guess Spawn's a legacy character now, you could say, but it's just still, it's upsetting.
I think McFarlane just has money to blow, man. So like, he gets good artists for his books.
Yeah, I think you paid him decent just to do one thing. And
but then
these are short comics. It's not like these are 30-page masterpieces. It's just it's all show and freaking no go. You know what I mean? Like, you want these guys on stories that mean something.
Yeah, style over substance. That the problem is though, like, and that's how I feel about Spawn, honestly, overall. Because there's a lot of things I love about it, but I just never read it. And that's the problem, though, is because, like you said, they're taking away good artists that there's only like a small percent, like these, like the print runs on a lot of the Spawn stuff is not as much as obviously some of obviously the Marvel and DC stuff. So like, I feel like there's so many people that aren't seeing their good work on these titles as a result, right? Like, because they're not reading Spawn, right? So like,
like, what if they made like some baloney new Spawn title, and now it's freaking Jorge Jimenez on it? They can pay him enough just to be for him on that title. It's like, oh, come on. You can't lock these guys up on these baloney characters.
That's the story that happened with Capullo. Capullo literally went over to Spawn, worked there for I think 15 years or something. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, when they launched the New 52 for DC, obviously a while ago now, and they announced Batman #1 with Scott Snyder, they put him on the artist. It's like he got reintroduced to people for the first time, like that.
Yeah, because he's been so gone. Like, who's making enough money out there, though?
Right. And now, like, they put him on the Hickman Wolverine book. You know what I mean? Like, that's now he's like one of these artists that people seek out now. And for a while there, no one probably had even heard of him.
Yeah, you don't want to see him doing freaking Rat City or something, or
right,
some unknown characters.
That's where he was though for years and
Yeah.
years and years. He was just working on Spawn because his style was very reminiscent of the McFarlane stuff after
Yeah.
he stopped drawing the book, right? So from I think from after he McFarlane left, like he drew up to issue 100 as Spawn from like he used to ink him on the early. So like the first
Yeah.
100 issues, like he was involved during that period. 100 issues of Spawn, like right, like that's crazy. Like and then like
Crazy.
no one was looking for him, right? And then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh yeah, guys, I'm on the new Batman book." I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'm ready. I'm ready to come out there. You know, I think I've had enough spot, or they're ready to pay him what he wanted.
right, right. So yeah, it's just interesting how that works. Like that's a perfect example of what you're saying. So what'd you give this?
That's I thought it was. Yeah, I'll give it a 3.5, 3.75 story. It's
Okay,
okay. It's good
okay.
stuff.
Batgirl number 3. I don't really have too much to add to this. It's still the same. Like it's kind of progressing the storyline of her and her mother, the relationship between her and Lady Shiva there, and of course it's interesting because we're seeing her in this book, and then we're also seeing her in the Black Canary book, fighting her currently. Not that everything has to line up in terms of the continuity, I guess, but it's just you're seeing a different side of the character in this one. Like she's trying to play the mother role in this, although at every turn, and every corner, she can't trust this woman. Still, she's got her defenses up, and at the end of this issue, you find out that they're in cahoots with the League of Shadows. Like somebody from the League of Shadows shows up, Batgirl goes to fight them, and she's like, "Oh no, we're cool with these people." And she's like, "What the fuck do you mean?" And then it kind of just ends on like a note like that. Like the whole series has been this whole time where she lets her in, she learns a little bit more about her mother, she learns like she can trust her for certain things, or that she's different than what she thought about certain other things. But then at the end of the day, something like this will happen. It seems like every issue where she's like, "No, you're a villain," or you know what I mean? Like, so it's like she's kind of like torn, like she's like down the middle in terms of like her loyalty towards the Bat family as well as her love, or should she have love for her mother? She's kind of torn on that whole situation. So it's a good series. I think it's a good representation of the character, and I think I'll give this a 3.75. I think that's kind of been like the whole series the whole way through it. I might pick up the collection. So yeah, Cassandra Cain, Birds of Prey number 17. Like I've been liking her a lot more in her own little mini series there that I have been so much in this series. 17 issues in, and I just wish this run was better. I really had high hopes for this one. I think it started off really well and had a lot of potential, but it just really hasn't panned out in the way I had hoped. So did you end up reading this or no?
Yeah, I did end up reading this one here.
This was
And
yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say this was the conclusion of the current arc with the Amazons and them trying to get Cassandra Cain back, who basically became a prisoner of them and transformed into like one of these like rabid, like big hulking women that they kind of drugged up, right, and were using for their own purposes, this organization. So but what'd you think of this? Like, did you like it, or I don't know?
Yeah, were they like poisoned with like almost the same thing that Bane gets poisoned with, that venom or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it seemed like. So
Yeah, I don't know. There's all I can say about this series is I think Big Bart is a big standout here. They got to change her costume here, get her into something good. I don't know what's that headpiece she wears, like it looks like one of those freaking nesting dolls or something. Just I think she seems to be standing out here. I love the way she talks, especially when she's always, talking to she seemed to be fighting, I guess, the venomized or the jacked up Batgirl there. So little Bat, don't do this. And then, when she gets stabbed by that thing, they think Sparta's gonna get venomized or whatever, jacked up. I don't know what they were calling it. And then she kind of throws it off. That needle couldn't get through my armor, never mind my skin. So that was like, kind of just a laugh off session.
right.
But in the end of the story, they send in is it Sin and somebody else there? I guess that was just kind of hanging back with Oracle.
Right.
And it seems like they could have came in there and freaking cleaned house already, but by the time they got there, everything was already cleaned up.
Right.
I don't like that sort of beat of the story. But otherwise, it's like I say, it's still been ho hum. There should be more.
Yeah, I just remember like looking at the issue number and saying like, man, we're 17 issues into this run already. And I just feel like there hasn't been enough to kind of like, hang your hat on and be like, yeah, this is like, I feel like there should have been a lot better stuff so far if we're this far into the run. Whereas I think we got like a promising, interesting, good first arc, and then since then, I don't think
Yeah,
it's
it
gonna.
went off the rails. I'm happy they kind of repaired their relationship with Themyscira and the
Yeah.
Amazons, because like I guess they were like pitted against each other. As was it in their own series or was that in something
Well,
else?
this was then within the honestly, that's been
Yeah,
a story thread from the beginning of this series, right? So, like, you're right. Now they're finally at a point where they've
yeah.
not
So hoping that does lead to something, or it's going to something where they're going to fight with the Amazons, because it makes sense. They're like alpha girl group, and
yeah.
they should be embraced by the Amazons.
Yeah. I like this. I just think it should be better. This
Yeah,
book should be better. It's just okay, right? So, like, obviously, I've been continuing to read it, but I have dropped it now. So, like, I think the last couple of issues I've just been reading digitally, but I'll probably still check it out. But I just think it should be so much better of a book, and I think it has
yeah,
a lot of potential, a lot of great characters. And yeah, I agree with you. I like the Barda Cassandra Cain relationship. Like, I like how she loves her so much. Like, she's like a really good friend of hers now in this book. And I just think you're getting more of that character and what I like about that character in the miniseries as
yeah.
opposed to this series, right? So, anyways, what'd
Yeah, a
you?
series like this shouldn't be afraid to go bi-monthly. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be monthly if you don't got the juice.
yeah,
And I don't think they have the juice yet.
no,
They got something there, but they got to find it still.
yeah, no, I agree. What would you give this?
Yeah, it's the 3.5.
Same, yeah. GSA number 3. Got this Dustin Ewan variant cover here. He's worked with Lemire a lot. Did you read this one?
Yeah, I don't think I did.
Okay. So basically, this is kind of just continuing this whole storyline with all like the different factions of the team right now. You got like Infinity Inc. in here, and you got like the old JSA teaming up with like the new JSA team. And then you got like a bunch of like you got like the Solomon Grundy team, like a bunch of like they call them as the mystery men section, like as they're kind of portioning out the storyline here, and a bunch of different characters there. So you got like 2 or 3 different groups that are kind of all spread out and working together, like for a common goal in this book so far. And like obviously Lemire's flexing his knowledge of like knowing all the different eras of the JSA and stuff like that, or like DC legacy characters and stuff like that. He's doing his thing in that regard. I don't always know everybody, but like I can follow along just fine. And yeah, it's just been a really good like superhero comic, like just run of the mill superhero book. I think Lemire is a good voice for all of these characters. And then at the end of this issue, he introduces a character that he's wrote a short story about. Is obviously his likes this character. Used to be a Vertigo character, I think. Then kind of he did a short story of it. I think maybe now it's like a proper DC universe character. That's Kid Eternity. I know that there's been different versions of this. This version, this girl version that shows up at the end, this might be the one he's done a short story about years ago in like a DC anthology issue or something. I remember him doing something with this character. This might be his version of this character that shows up at the end of this issue, and I would not be surprised if that's the case. So that's a lot of fun. I really like the end of this one and how he introduced that character. So yeah, this is just a good old fashion superhero book, honestly, and I'm enjoying it. If you like Lemire's writing, I think it's worth checking out. I give this 3.75. And then X Factor number 6, Chris. Let's talk about some power dogging.
That's it. The return of the power dog. I love that line. Where do you get those power dogs? He just pulls that out of his jacket.
He's like, so
Hey, you do see the power dog go down as he eats it. Maybe they're listening. But yeah, there's some good stuff going on in here, though. Even though there's the jokey sort of, the General Mills and all that sort of stuff going on. But the story back there, I think it's starting to find its way as well. I like the stuff with Polaris there and Havoc. I guess they realize that they can't be together. They're sort of on the opposite sides, and it's good that this X Force team has sort of found their way. They're not like they're not going to be the puppets of the government. The government was pushing them too far, and they're starting to push back. And all the same things too with what happened in the other issues. They caught the leader of that X-Thern through sort of no fault of their own, and then she's inside there trying to talk to the fridge to try and free her.
Yeah, they're like, we disconnected that.
Yeah, we figured that one out. Maybe too late. But yeah, it's all good stuff in here. And then I think the next issue is supposed to be that's going to be the one under Doom or something. And it's got Angel coming back, and he's got a Doom mask on. So there's some good stuff to look forward to in here.
Yeah, the whole thing that was revealed at the end of this issue too is that they have a traitor in their midst. This guy that they thought was I think we thought he had gotten killed or whatever, but then he's sitting down with them at the end there, and it
Oh
looks
yeah,
like
yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was someone I think that they tried to help, and now like it looks like this company now is using them to get a man on the inside or try to like, you know what I mean, like sway them or somehow. I'm not, yeah, because he was part of this mission earlier in the issue, remember? And then it looks like now he's working with them at the end of this issue. So they looks like they say something about him being a traitor. So I think that's interesting as well. So I really like this book just because, like I said, it's a different type of X-Men book that's a standout amongst all the other things that's been coming out lately. And it's been enjoyable. Obviously, the Power Dog stuff goes a long way as well. I do always enjoy that joke when it pops up, but even taking away that kind of stuff, it actually is making a case for it just being an interesting X title outside of like everything that's going on as well. So good stuff. What'd you give this?
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.75. I liked it.
Same. Yeah. And then finally, last book of the week here, The Ultimates #8. I kind of regret getting this cover. I didn't see the cover before I ordered it, so I just like the artist, and I really just like I like the original covers, how they look. Yeah, with the Guardians on it. I should have got that one. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so I got this.
Especially when you get the run going, it's good to have.
I know.
I still regret not getting that freaking #1 Amazing Spider-Man or Ultimate Spider-Man. I went for the.
I know.
Same. I went for the segment cover and.
Yeah, I just didn't know they were all going to be like a uniform kind of like design to them, right? I should have known better because Hickman was involved. That guy's like, I guarantee you this was all like the way he wanted it because he's very like, he likes that kind of stuff. Like the design.
Yeah, I'm sure if you look at the cover somehow, they're going to all freaking link together to some part of the story somehow.
Yeah. So what'd you think of this?
Not my favorite issue.
Agreed.
With the Guardians of the Galaxy and how they figured out, like, I don't know, they had, like, there's like 41,000 years till some sort of event. I don't know where they're meeting them, like, in time. I don't know what's going on with that. And, I kind of like how, whatever, America was part of that team, but she just doesn't remember. And the team is like, they're all friends, but they're all sort of fighting about it. I like Star-Lord in there. He seems to be a pretty cool character. So there's some good things in there. I don't know if this team is going to stick around in this Ultimate Universe or if they're just going to be like a one pop in and they're going to go back to their own timeline. So we'll see how that pans out. It wasn't bad, but it's just a little bit confusing in here what's going on. I was hoping they'd kind of get back to their story.
Yeah, which I think is like by design because whenever you introduce like a whole time travel element to stories, like I love that stuff, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's hard to figure out like what the hell, like because like they're coming from all these converging timelines and time traveling stuff that's going on in the book. Like they were able to escape, from what I understood, this Guardians group was able to escape the rest of the timeline people getting wiped out from this Ultimate Universe kind of destruction. And the one person that wasn't able to evade that is America Chavez, who's now part of this new Ultimates team that they're trying to come back and recruit back to the Guardians.
Yeah, because this is a dead timeline or something. And basically that's what they're telling her, right?
Right. And she's refusing because now she has a relationship with these people. And what they're not understanding is all this stuff that they're saying about their history together, she does not have a memory of. So she's like, I that's great and all, but I do not remember any of that. So therefore, I don't have any allegiance to you. And I don't have the same feelings you do towards me. Like, and I actually, I liked that. I liked that as like a story, like a beat. Like I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. And why would you go join these people regardless of what they told you if you don't know who any of these people are, right? Like I that tracked for me. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But like where everything is in terms of like where it lines up with this current storyline, you're right. It doesn't really add anything to like the current like goal, let's say, of the Ultimates in that regard. This was like a nice detour, a slight detour, let's say, to the ongoing storyline this issue. So it wasn't my favorite issue either, but I liked some bits of it. I liked that aspect of it, right? So yeah, it was fine. Yeah, what'd you give this?
I'll give this 3.5 though.
I'll go 3.75. I think in explaining it, like I do have appreciation for certain stuff that happened here. So yeah, I'll go 3.75. But yeah, but usually I give this book like 4 or 4.25.
Yeah,
So
it's been good. I'll say that much.
Yeah. So all right, so that's going to do it for the books for January 1st, 2025 that we wanted to talk about here, guys. So now we're going to be going back on our regular weekly schedule. 1 week every week. We're going to be talking about a week at a time. We kind of just lumped these last 2 weeks together here at the end of the year because, like I said, we brought out the year-end show there of our favorite comics. Definitely go check that out. That came out last week. Chris, what are you looking forward to checking out next week?
Give me a second to load this up here.
Yeah. I got mine bringing it up too.
I think we got some good stuff coming up.
Yeah, I got some stuff here.
All right, let's see what's going on with Marvel. Oh, of course, Amazing Spider-Man 65.
Yeah,
that's looking good. The Uncanny X-Men 8. Magic number 1. I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I didn't order this all new Venom, but you know the way my LCS works, if I get one, that means I'm buying the run. So if he does bring that one in, I think I'll take it. I'm really digging Carlos Gomez. I've been looking for some of this stuff. Let's see. I think that might be it for Marvel. Let's see what DC's got to put out. Oops. Yeah, Absolute Batman 4. Let's see, Action Comics 1082. DC versus Vampires, World War V number 6.
Yeah.
I don't know, this Aquaman. I hear some good things about this writer that's been going on the Green Lantern. It's the same guy that's doing this Aquaman now. But I don't think I'll be buying it. And for Image, oops.
Was Jeremy Adams or whatever his name is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Image. So we got Transformers 16, Geiger 10. That seems to be coming up quick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if that does come out, yeah.
And that might be it there. So it might be another small week. So I might have to pay a lot because I got to get the rest of my comics that I didn't get from the last 2 weeks, but we'll see.
Yeah, not a huge week for me either of things I'm actually picking up the physical release of, though. Actually, a decent size. Absolute Batman number 4, Amazing Spider-Man 65, DC versus Vampires World War V number 6. Now it says of 12, so yeah, they have expanded that. I think it was originally supposed to be a 6-issue series, so that's what it says now. So yeah, I'm fine with that. K 24. Not 1, not 2, but 3 covers of Magic number 1 and picking up. Yeah, I got some nice banger covers there.
I'm worried about that because I put down the cover for Jay Ancelito, but I've recently realized that's a 1 in 25. But if I still just get the A cover with Scott Campbell, it's still not bad.
Sorry, what's the 1 in 25?
The Jay Ancelito one.
Oh,
Jay Ancelito.
Not Ji Young Lee, right?
No.
Okay, yeah, no, that one I didn't put down.
We talk about Magic. Yeah. I did get Magic number 2 of Villa Lobos that was not out there, and it's a fucking banger though. It's out there now. I better get that cover.
So the Image was not shown yet. I pre-ordered it anyway.
Yeah, Villa Lobos.
Yeah.
I'll take him all day.
Also,
it's a fucking banger cover.
The Image is out there. I'll have to take a look.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I did pre-order that one. For this one, I got J. Scott Campbell, David Nakayama, and Ji Young Lee for the variants for this.
Yeah, those are all great covers.
Yeah, Namor number 6, Transformers 16, Uncanny X-Men 8. Fuck. And it looks like I still have an issue of Wolverine pre-ordered here, Wolverine 5. So I think that's my last issue I have pre-ordered. I hope so.
I'm probably getting it too, but
yeah. So anyways, yeah, that's what we got to look forward to next week, everybody. So we'll be back on our weekly schedule here for Comic Shop Talk. All right, Chris, what was your favorite book of the week? Your first favorite book of the week for 2025.
I'll start with A for Avengers. Just
Same.
that Black Cat scene there, can't go wrong. And
Same.
it was a late week.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Avengers 22. The only thing that came close to it, actually, surprisingly, was Deadpool and Wolverine for me. But I'm gonna go with Avengers 22 as well. Just for, like I said, with Jed and Black Cat, it's a great match.
Yeah, and that is a comic I want to be good too. Like I think with this Justice League, I might be out of them. I'll read it, but I want Avengers to be good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, great issue. So definitely go check that out, everyone. So that'll do it for our first episode of 2025. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you once again. I hope everyone's holidays were good. And back to our usual.
All right, back to the grind.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Chris. Thanks.
All right, cheers.
Thanks.